Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? How is everyone? Good evening. I'm good. I hope your preparations are going on well. पढ़ाई वढ़ाई कर रहे हो कि नहीं? Good evening, Himadri. Ranveer, good evening. Good. We have very few days left, right? So now with full on Josh, you have to study. My voice is cracking. Yes, it's only 20 days. Someone is still counting, so good. You know how many days left. It's around the corner. Avnish, health in chemistry. Yes, so that's why today we will do chemistry only first, okay? Next we'll do biology and then physics. So one by one we'll finish up. So it is a one-shot video. So till the end you'll remain, okay? So all the questions I have collected, that is only for chemistry for all the chapters. Yes, everyone is studying hard. Your results, okay, pre-board results will be out. Okay, all the best to everyone. Is it is the problem for everyone that my voice is cracking or only for few? Anyone whose voice, okay, my voice is cracking. Now is it okay? Okay. Okay. We shall start now. Okay. It's already 7 minutes past 6. So we'll start off. Today we'll start off with chemistry. So we'll do chapter 5. So serially I'll be going. Okay. So the first question. Okay. So magnesium ribbon is rubbed with sandpaper before making it to burn. The reason of rubbing the ribbon is to, okay, option A, remove moisture condensed over the surface of ribbon. Then option B, generate heat due to exothermic reaction. Option C, remove magnesium oxide formed over the surface of magnesium. Option D, mix silicon from sandpaper, silicon dioxide with magnesium for lowering ignition temperature of the ribbon. So everyone start giving the answer. Okay. Ayush, first one is Ayush. Okay, let me see. Himadri C. Others also quickly reply. This question is the first page on the chapter. So chemical reaction equations, the magnesium experiment that we have seen. So that's a question related to that experiment. Okay. So others, what about others? Only three have answered. Okay. So I will not use too much of time. Maximum of 15-20 seconds I'll give. Okay. So that you can also have an idea of the time limit. Okay. So these are MCQ based questions. So you should not take more than 15 to 20 seconds. That should be a target. Okay. Let's see the answer. So yes, option is C is the correct answer. Very good. So that's a sandpaper in the photo. You can see the sandpaper that mostly the carpenters they use. So with that you will rub the magnesium ribbon before burning it. Okay. Okay. Next question. This is the iron nail experiment. Iron nail is placed in three test tubes. Okay. एक है test tube A where you have water. Second one test tube B dryer. Third वाला test tube C that is water and oxygen is present. So you have to say कौन सा test tube will rust by rusting will occur fastest and why. ठीक है कि कौन सा टेस्ट ट्यूब में रस्टिंग सबसे ज्यादा फास्ट होगा एंड क्यों. ऑप्शन ए presence of water only. Option B, presence of oxygen only. Option C, test tube C, presence of both oxygen and water. And option D, rusting will occur equally. So tell me the answer. Okay, you just say, okay, C or the Dave MK8182. So I don't know your name. So okay, I'll tell you by your ID only. Okay, you have also said C, Himadri C. Others? One is having water, one test tube only air, dryer is there, and third one test tube is water plus oxygen. Okay, let's see the answer now. So yes, very good. Option C is the correct answer where we need both moisture that is coming from water and oxygen in order to have rusting. Okay, so remember that rusting will occur only in presence of moisture. So here in this case, moisture will come from the water and including oxygen it has to be there. Okay. Okay, next one. A student performs electrolysis of acidified water using inert electrodes. So this is regarding electrolysis of water. Okay. The volume of the gas collected at the cathode is double that at anode. You all know already this one. So which inference is correct? Okay, so you have to tell me which one is correct. Option A, hydrogen is more soluble in water. Option B, oxygen has lower molecular mass. Option C, water decomposes into hydrogen and oxygen in 2:1 ratio. And option D, hydrogen is heavier than oxygen. Tell me which option will it be? Remember the electrolysis of water experiment? One in one cathode you have the gas collected is double, and anode it will be in a 2:1 ratio, right? So one will have double the other. So what do you think will be the option? Okay, C. What about others? Okay, Abhinav C. Nazmin C. Okay, okay. We are having some spam messages out here. Please, this is an education channel, so please don't go for this. Okay, so here the option, let's see the answer here. So option C is the correct answer. So very good. So everyone has given the right answer so far. So good. Okay, next one. So that's the electrolysis of water. Okay, so here oxygen and hydrogen is collected in one test tube. So hydrogen will have double. And in the other one, oxygen will be in the ratio of 2:1. Okay, so 2 will be of hydrogen, 1 is for oxygen. So remember this one. So gas cathode is hydrogen gas is at the cathode, and at anode it is oxygen. Remember this. Okay, next one. In a displacement reaction, which condition is necessary? Both option A, both metals must be equally reactive. Option B, less reactive metal displaces more reactive metal. Option C, more reactive metal displaces less reactive metal. And option D, metal must be in solid state. Okay, Himadri, option C. So remember the displacement reaction. Okay, we know also option C. What about others? You cannot take too much time. Okay. So this is so two are the so this is a one line answer. So you should know you should be quick. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Very good. So option C is the correct answer. Okay. So that is more reactive metal displaces less reactive metals. The one which is more reactive, that element will displace the other one which is less reactive. So option C will be the answer. Okay. Yes. So option C, 80% of you are given option C. So good. Let's do the next one. The element that cannot be used as a reducing agent is, okay, you remember oxidizing agent, reducing agent. So reducing agent, okay. So reducing agent, you should remember what is reducing agent? That is addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. Also, you should know about the gain of electrons or loss of electrons. Okay, based on that, you have to answer which one is the reducing agent. Carbon, option B में है aluminium, option C sulfur, option D sodium. So tell me according to you, what should be the answer? Which one is the which cannot be? Okay, so here the option given it is given as cannot be. So which cannot be a reducing agent? So read the question carefully, okay? Whether it is asking for reducing agent or cannot be a reducing agent. So read each and every word properly. बोलो अभी जल्दी जल्दी. Which one? A, B, C or D? Even if you don't know, at least you answer. Don't leave the question. तुक्का मार के आ जाओ. So you give the answer, okay? Yes, it's not tricky. You should know what is reducing agent. अगर वो पता है तो answer आ जाएगा. Okay, Ranvi goes for B. Abhinav goes for C. Others also give me an answer. No issues if you are wrong. Okay, let's see the answer. So see here, reducing agents are those which loses electrons. Okay, along with the addition of hydrogen and removal oxygen. Remember, reducing agents are the ones which loses electrons, and oxidizing agents are the ones which gains electrons. Now, can you tell me, or which one, the one which gets oxidized, that is reducing, one which gets reduced is called oxidizing agent. So now, can you tell me carbon, aluminium, sulfur, sodium? Everyone is going for C. Okay, Ritesh is going for B. Okay, so loses electron. That means it has to be a cation. Okay, so that's why you think one cation always loses electrons, anion always gains electrons. So here, if you see, they are asking which cannot be. Okay, so that means they are asking for the oxidizing agent. So yes, very good. Those were given option C. Yes, Neha is also correct. Himantri also correct. Okay. So you have to say which one is not a reducing agent. So इसमें से option C, that is sulfur. Okay. So sulfur will is reducing agent. It's not an reducing agent. It is an oxidizing agent. We say what is the charge of sulfur? Sulfur 2 minus, right? So that's how you should remember. Okay. So always remember cations जो होता है, if we lose electrons, anions जो होता है, it will they will be the oxidizing agent क्योंकि वो लोग gain करते हैं electron. Okay, so this thing keep it in mind or keep a note of it. Okay, let's do the next one. This is from the next chapter. A farmer adds quicklime to acidic soil. After a few days, the soil becomes suitable for crop growth. Which property of quicklime is responsible? Option A, it acts as an acid. Option B, it increases soil fertility. Option C, it neutralizes excess acid. Option D, it releases carbon dioxide. This is easy one. Chalo, tell me. Why a farmer adds quicklime to acidic soil? Soil is acidic, now he is adding quicklime. So you have to know the property of quicklime, whether it is acidic or base. Okay, Avinav is the first one. C. Okay, another one. C. C. Okay. All are going for C. Okay, let's see the answer. So yes, very good. So that is because it's a base, so you have to neutralize the acidic soil. So in order to neutralize acidic soil, you have to take a base that is quicklime, right? So here the option C is the correct one to neutralize the excess acid present in the soil. Okay, good. Okay, so we have the poll. 86% of you have said C. Okay, I want 100% for the next answer. Okay, let's see. Or any answer. Okay, this one. A solution turns red litmus blue and has pH 11. ठीक है, red litmus blue है and pH is 11. Which substance can show this property? So you know, so if you know whether acid will turn red litmus blue or base will turn red litmus blue, and already the hint is given, pH is 11. Okay, pH is high, 11. Which substance can show this property? Sodium carbonate, hydrochloric acid, ethanoic acid, ammonium chloride. Okay, Bitesh, A. Okay. What about others? A. Rest of you tell me. Yeah, now we are going for D, ammonium chloride. pH 11. Okay, for acid it is less pH. Okay, and for base it is higher pH. That is pH 11. That means we are talking about a base. Now you find out which one is the base out here. Sodium carbonate, hydrochloric acid, ethanoic acid, ammonium chloride. Tell me. Okay, let's go for the answer. So our answer is option A. Okay, sodium carbonate. You know, so it is not ammonium chloride. So sodium carbonate is the base here. Acid, hydrochloric acid, ethanoic acid, they are base. Ammonium chloride is not a like it's not a strong base. Like pH 11 is given, right? It's a strong base. So a strong base is sodium carbonate is the one. Okay, not ammonium chloride. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay. Why is ethanol not considered a strong acid even though it contains hydrogen? Okay, I hope you have understood the question. Ethanol has hydrogen in it, right? Formula is what? CH3, CH2OH. So there you have hydrogens. Ethanol has hydrogens. So if it has hydrogen, why it is not considered as a strong acid? So option A, hydrogen is bonded to oxygen. Option B, it does not reduce H plus ions in aqueous solution. Option C, it is a covalent compound. Option D, it has low molecular mass. So tell me what will be the answer. Okay, Bitesh, you're going for C. Always remember the properties, okay? So the question is based on the properties. So what are the properties of a strong acid? When can a substance be called a strong acid or a strong base? It has to have certain properties that will identify it is a acid. So that way you think an answer. Okay, what about others? Okay, anyone else want to answer? Do it fast. For this type of questions, don't take too much of time. Okay. Okay. Let's. Do, hello. Okay. So your answer is option B. Okay. It does not reduce H plus ions in aqueous solution. That's the main important keyword for acid or a base. Okay. So in case of acid, that is H plus ions, that is hydronium ions has to be formed. For that, H plus ions is required in aqueous solution. So when H plus ions are released with water, then it forms hydronium ions, right? H3O plus ions. So now that's why if so ethanol cannot produce H plus ions. Ethanol के पास H plus ions नहीं होता है when it is mixed with water. Okay, so that's why it is not considered a strong acid. I hope I am clear. Yes, so you have to know the properties, okay? This type of question comes from the acid and base, okay? So you have to know this property. Reducing hydrogen ions. Always in your mind keep it. H plus ions. Acid मतलब H plus ions has to be there in aqueous solution. Okay, that property has to be noted on. Okay, next one. Why are metals generally good conductors of electricity? So this again properties of metals from their own test come. Okay. Option A, presence of protons. Option B, presence of free electrons. Option C, high melting point. Option D, high density. So out of these four, which one will say that metals are good conductors of electricity? When can a metal conduct electricity? Tell me this answer. Okay, Ravina going for B. Okay, B. Okay, all are going for B. Yes, so let's see. So yes, B is the correct answer. So only when you have free electrons, then only electricity can be conducted, right? Electricity is all about electrons. So if there is free electrons, then only a substance can conduct electricity. So that's the reason why metals are good conductors of electricity. Okay, let's do the next one now. Yes, 83% of you answered option B. Next one. Which statement correctly explains why aluminium is resistant to corrosion? Okay, think properly. Why aluminium is resistant to corrosion? That means aluminium does not undergo corrosion. I hope everyone knows now what is corrosion. अभी बोलो. Option A, aluminium is highly reactive. Option B, it does not react with oxygen. Option C, it forms a protective oxide layer. And option D, it is a noble metal. इन चारों में से कौन सा होगा? Tell me. Okay. Three. Option C. Okay. Hi. Okay. All are going for C. What about others? Let's do. So aluminium is resistant to corrosion because of the protective oxide layer that is being formed. Okay. So on top of aluminium, if you are taking any aluminium rod or any other substance made of aluminium, so you have a protective oxide layer. So that aluminium oxide layer will be formed. So that aluminium oxide layer will protect from further corrosion of the aluminium metal that is present below it. Okay. So that's how aluminium does not get corrosion. Yes. Amphoteric in nature also. Yes. Okay. Are you liking the question? Put hearts if you're liking the question. Yeah, hi Roshan. Okay, let's do the next one. Which of the following pairs will give displacement reaction? Okay, so you have to say pairs are given. Each pairs, so you have to say out of these four pairs, which one will go for displacement reaction. Okay, I hope everyone knows displacement reaction. One which displaces the other, one more reactive will displace the other one, right? So you should know the reactivity series. I hope everyone knows the reactivity series. Now see it. Zinc sulfate solution and copper, magnesium chloride and aluminum metal, ferrous sulfate and silver metal, silver nitrate and copper metal. Okay, Avinav Wisdom has given already D. Yes, Nitesh also D. A. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see the answer. So we'll be so we have today we have 53 questions. Okay, I have 53 questions. So we'll be I'll do fast. Okay. Okay. So those are going for option D. That's the correct answer. So copper metal will displace silver. Okay. So that's more reactive than silver. Okay. That's right. So you see this in the reactivity series. So if you see copper. Okay. So here is copper and here is silver. Okay, so that's why the copper will displace silver. Okay, it's top of silver, so we can displace. Rest all is cannot be done. Okay, so it's very important to know the reactivity series. Okay, chalo, let's do the next one. Which of the following is a chemical method for preventing an iron frying pan from rusting? Okay, कौन सा chemical method से तुम आयरन फ्राइंग पैन जो होता है उससे you'll prevent it from rusting. So how will you do it? Will you apply grease? Will you apply paint? Will you apply a coating of zinc? Or all of the above? Which one will be the answer? Option C. All are going for option C. Okay, British is having a different answer. So for this question, you should know what will prevent corrosion or how will you prevent rusting? What are the different methods? Yes, you can. Why not? They're asking how will you prevent rusting? तुम iron frying pan लो या दूसरा frying pan लो. The thing is how will you prevent rusting? Okay, so here the option will be D. So those who have given answer D, that's the correct one. Okay, so all of the above. So rusting can be prevented by greasing also. That is, you put some oily stuff. Paint से भी कर सकते हो, or you apply a zinc coating on top of it, top of iron. Okay, so all the three options are correct. So that's why the option D is the correct answer. Okay, next one. Which compound will produce carbon dioxide gas on reaction with dilute acid? Sodium chloride, sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, copper sulfate. So which one will be the correct one? Carbon dioxide gas, which one will produce carbon dioxide gas when on reaction with acid, dilute acid? One key word is there. So if that compound is there, that means it will produce carbon dioxide. So now you tell me. I've given you a hint. A, B, C, or D. Okay, British is going for C. Others fast. Okay, let's do. Okay, so yes, British is correct. So option C is the correct one. Carbonate. Whenever you see carbonate, it will always produce carbon dioxide. Okay, that's the thing you have to remember. Carbonate होगा तो carbon dioxide gas, it will always produce carbon dioxide gas. ठीक है? So when now in all the four options, if you see option C is only having carbonate. So sodium carbonate will be the right answer. Okay, so think that way. So keep note of it. Okay, those key things where you making mistake and where you need to remember those things. Keep it in mind or keep a note of it. Okay, let's do the next one. Which of the following metal is liquid at ordinary temperature? Very easy. Aluminium, mercury, magnesium, or potassium. कौन सा वाला option है? This one you have to like you are studying for so many years. This one should be easy for you. Okay, B, B. Okay, okay. Let's see. Yes, mercury is the only metal which is liquid at room temperature or ordinary temperature. Okay. So this is so mercury is the correct option. Next one. Choose the incorrect pair. Okay, which pair is incorrect? You have to say NO neutral oxide, Cl2O acidic oxide, MgO basic oxide, P4O10 basic oxide. So you have to tell me which pair is incorrect. Which one, where the pair is saying, let's suppose magnesium oxide, whether it is acidic or basic oxide. That way you check. Okay, for each of the compounds, you check whether the oxide form is neutral, acidic, or basic. Okay, so here you need to know the properties. Which metals will produce what type of oxide? Which metal, non-metal will produce whether acidic or basic? Metals will produce acidic or basic, or ones which reacts with both. Those things you need to know. Okay, so okay, Pritesh is going for A. Okay, incorrect pair. Okay, so you have to check for incorrect one, not the right one. Okay, Ayush is also going for A. Okay, thank you, Sujan. A. Okay, okay, let's see the answer. So option D. Okay, not A, it will be D. Basic oxide. P4O10 is not a basic oxide. Now, how will you know? You see this one. See this note. Non-metals will form acidic oxides. Okay, generally all non-metals forms acidic oxide. Keep it in mind. Now, phosphorus is what? Phosphorus is a non-metal. Okay, so phosphorus, since it is a non-metal, it should have formed acidic oxide. It will not form basic oxides. Okay, so since phosphorus is a non-metal, so it will form basic acidic oxide. Now here it is incorrect pair. That means it has to. The answer should have been acidic. Basic नहीं होना चाहिए था. Okay, it has to be acidic. So that's why option D is the incorrect pair. Okay, and all metals forms basic oxides. Okay, keep a note of it. Metals forms basic oxide, non-metals form acidic oxide. Okay, is it clear, everyone? Give a thumbs up if it is clear. So you check whether it is a metal or non-metal. So if it is non-metal, so it will be acidic. You see, chlorine is a non-metal. Okay, magnesium basic because magnesium is a metal. Phosphorus is non-metal, so it should have been acidic. I hope it is clear. Let's do the next one. Metal present in chloroplast is. So which metal is found in chloroplast? Sorry. Okay. Iron, copper, magnesium, cobalt. So out of these four metals, which one is present in chloroplast? I hope everyone knows chloroplast, right? Chlorophyll is present in chloroplast. So अभी उसमें बोलो which metal will it be? Sujan's planet. Okay. I'm no. I'm only doing science. For the moment, I'm not doing any maths class. Okay. I'll be doing science, physics, chemistry, and biology. Okay. So okay, students, let's answer this one. So कौन सा metal chloroplast में है? Okay. Ritesh is going for D. Cobalt. Okay. Others. जल्दी जल्दी answer it. Yes, Ayush. Even plants are metals. Option C. Okay. Okay, so option C is the correct answer. Okay, magnesium. So magnesium is a metal that is present in chloroplast. Remember this. Let's do the next one. Which one of the following is not correct regarding the electrolytic refining of copper? Okay, which one of the following is not correct regarding the electrolytic refining of copper? I hope you remember the electrolytic refining process, okay, of ores, that part. Okay, so here these are the four options given. Basic copper hydroxide solution is used as cathode. Acidified copper sulfate solution is used as electrolyte, that is option B. Option C, impure copper is taken as anode. Option D, copper ions gets collected as anode. इसमें से कौन सा करेक्ट नहीं है for the electrolytic refining of copper? You should know, okay? Electrolytic refining of copper is important. So if you remember the diagram, you can easily tell what all are included there. Okay. Yes. Okay. Option A. Option A. What about others? D. Okay. बोलना है which is not correct. Okay. कौन सा correct नहीं है? I'll post when most probably I'll be taking day after tomorrow. Okay, not tomorrow. Okay, I'll look for my post. I'll be sharing that which day I'll be taking biology. Okay, option A. Okay, Sanjeev A. Okay, let's see the answer. So yes, those are answered A. That is correct. Basic copper hydroxide solution is used as cathode. That is wrong. At cathode, you will not take any hydroxide solution. Okay, that's an electrolyte. So electrolytic solution you will not take there. So there it can be either a metal. Okay, so it has to be a metal there. So this is the diagram you see here of electrolytic refining of copper. So at anode, you'll have the impure metal. So here we have taken copper. So impure copper will be at the anode, and pure copper will be at the cathode. And the electrolytic solution will be the copper sulfate solution. Okay? And the impurities are that is the anode mud will be collected here. That is called your anode mud. Okay? तो ऑप्शन ए गलत है बेसिक कॉपर हाइड्रोक्साइड सॉल्यूशन नहीं लेंगे कैथोड में क्या होगा प्योर कॉपर मेटल होना चाहिए सो दैट्स व्हाई ऑप्शन ए इज रॉन्ग एंड ऑलवेज रिमेंबर इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सॉल्यूशन जो होगा दैट इज ऑलवेज इट हैज टू बी समथिंग विद द मेटल दैट इज बीइंग रिफाइंड हो रहा है ठीक है अभी मुझे कॉपर का रिफाइनिंग चाहिए तो मुझे कॉपर का सोल्यूशन ही बनाना है विल नॉट टेक एल्यूमिनियम सल्फेट और समथिंग और एल्यूमिनियम क्लोराइड इट हैज टू बी अ सॉल्ट ऑफ the same metal. So अगर copper चाहिए तो copper का ही solution बनाना है that is copper here we have taken copper sulfate. ठीक है? And so impure copper will be at anode and pure copper will be at the cathode. This one you remember. Okay, so this is the answer. So when you pass electricity, so pure copper will be deposited at the cathode. These all points you keep in mind. ठीक है? कहाँ पे क्या impure वाला metal कहाँ पे होगा anode में pure वाला कहाँ पे होगा cathode में and when electricity is passed कहाँ पे pure copper deposit होगा it will be present at the cathode okay so cathode में pure वाला जहाँ पे pure metal cathode में pure copper जो होगा impure copper से pure वाला copper will be deposited at the cathode remember this keywords is it clear okay let's do the next one which of the following elements will form basic oxides okay you have to say which elements will form basic oxides. Barium, aluminium, carbon, phosphorus. Just now we have done acidic and basic oxide. इसमें से बोलो which one will form the basic oxide. Whether metal, the one with the metal or one with non-metal. Barium, aluminium, carbon, phosphorus. Now I think you will be able to answer. Okay, K is B. Option B. Okay. What about the rest of you? B. All are going for B. Aluminium. No, it will be barium. Okay, aluminium, not aluminium, it will be barium. Okay, now why? Because barium is a metal and metals form basic oxides. Yes or no? Non-metal forms acidic oxide. Barium will form, since it is a metal, so it will form basic oxide. Now, why not aluminium? Aluminium is not a metal, not a non-metal. It is a metalloid. It comes between metals and it's neither metal nor non-metal. Those are called metalloids, right? So aluminium falls under metalloid. So it forms amphoteric. That's why aluminium forms amphoteric oxides. Okay, it is amphoteric in nature. Why? Because it is a metalloid. Okay, so it can react both with acid, both with and as well as base. So it's still that's why aluminium cannot be option क्योंकि वो acidic oxide भी form करता है, basic oxide also it is forming. Carbon and phosphorus non-metals है, so that's why it cannot form basic oxide, it will form acidic oxide. Okay, so keep a note. So aluminium is amphoteric because it's a metalloid, so it will react with both acid and base. So aluminium cannot be the answer. Okay, we come to the next one. A student by mistake used a wet gas jar to collect sulfur dioxide. Which one of the following tests of the gas is likely to fail? Option A, odor. Option B, effect on acidified K2Cr2O7. Option C, solubility test. Option D, none of these. Okay. A student by mistake used a wet gas jar. Okay. The jar that is being taken, उसमें gas है, that is wet. That means moisture is there. Okay. इसमें collect हुआ क्या? Which gas is collected? Sulfur dioxide. SO2 gas is formed. Which one of the following tests of the gas is likely to fail? So you should know the sulfur dioxide test. Okay. For this question, is it odor? Is it with K2Cr2O7 as effect on acidified K2Cr2? Will you take that test? Or option C solubility test or option D none of this. So कौन सा वाला test? These are all four tests. Okay. So out of this, which one will fail for sulfur dioxide test अगर करना है? So which of these tests will fail? So what will be the answer? D, C, A. Okay. I'm getting different answer. So you should know the properties of sulfur dioxide gas. Okay. तो उसमें so कौन सा टेस्ट फेल होगा? So all these are different tests. K2Cr2 potassium dichromate test, that is color change you can observe. Okay, odor means smell. Solubility means whether the gas will be soluble or not. Okay, so which of this option will be the correct answer? Though which one will fail? Okay, they are asking which one कौन सा pass होगा नहीं कौन सा fail होगा. That means which one will not work because he has taken a weight gas jar. Okay, so let's see the answer. So answer will be option C, solubility test. बाकी सब odor and effect on acidified potassium dichromate will work. Only solubility test will not work. Why? Because sulfur dioxide already it is a weight jar. पानी में already dissolve हो जाता है. Okay, so that's why you cannot know whether sulfur dioxide test is dioxide gas is there or not. Okay, whereas odor, yes, sulfur dioxide is a pungent smell, odor is there, strong odor is there, so that's why you can know yes this is sulfur dioxide test. So odor test करेंगे तो yes you can do it. Or even for K2Cr2O7 the color will change, okay, from orange. So earlier potassium dichromate is orange in color. So if you mix sulfur dioxide with potassium dichromate, that time the color will change to green. Okay, so that's the how you test sulfur dioxide gas. Okay, so you see here, so SO2 is highly soluble in water. Since the jar is wet, the gas will dissolve in the water and hence the test will fail. So that is the reason. Okay, and so if you go for odor test, sulfur dioxide has a pungent and suffocating smell which can be detected. And sulfur dioxide, agar if you are taking with orange color acidified K2Cr2O7, it will reduce to green color because of the chromium ions. Okay. And moist and also sulfur dioxide turns moist litmus paper blue today as it is acidic. Sulfur dioxide is acidic in nature. Okay, so it will turn moist litmus paper from blue today. Please remember these properties of sulfur dioxide gas. Okay, otherwise it will be so questions comes from this either of this properties. Okay, so remember these properties. Let's do the next one. The atomic number, this is easy one. The atomic number of an element X is 16. Okay? The number of electrons in X minus 2 ion will be how many? So atomic number दिया हुआ है X का 16. We have to say how many electrons will be present in X minus 2 ion. Will it be 16, 17, 18 or 20? What will the answer? Atomic number is given 16. That means number of electrons is also 16. Right? Now we have to say how many electrons is present in X2 minus ion. Okay, so okay, mutation is going for option A, 16. 2 minus means what? You are losing electron. How many electrons you are losing? Because it has become an anion. So two electrons you have gained. Sorry, minus it means you are gaining electrons. So two electrons extra it is gaining. So will it be 16 or anything else? Okay, Ayush is going for. Okay, Sujan is going first. Yes. So option C. Okay, तो इसमें दो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स गेन हो रहा है तो दो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स मतलब 16 ऑलरेडी था तो प्लस 2 so it will be number of electrons will change, okay, but number of protons will remain fixed because only electrons are being added. So anion में electrons will be added. So so that's why you see you'll count the number of electrons that means you'll add plus 2 there. If it is minus 3, that means you'll add plus 3 there. Okay, so it depends on. So your protons will be 16. It will be same. Okay, for this question, like electrons जो होगा it will change. So here electrons will be 18 and not 16. Okay, I have time clear now. Let's do the next one. Which of the following is not a characteristic of metal? Okay. Malleable, option B, electropositive nature, option C, ductile, option D, none of these. You have to say which one is not a characteristic of metal. So you have to see which one is not a property of a metal. चलो बताओ. Okay, Himanshi, you're going for B. बाकी लोग बताओ. Okay, D. Let's see the answer. Yes. So British is correct. So option D, none of these. Okay. So see here, malleable. Yes, metals are malleable. They are electropositive in nature, so it is always positive cations, right? Ductile, ductility. So this is also a property. So the only option left is option D, none of this. Okay. So that cannot be a characteristic of a metal. So it's a little bit tricky one, right? But rest all are properties of metal or characteristics of metal. Okay. Yes, D. Okay, let's do the next one. Zinc plus water. Now here steam. Okay, so hot steam. That is steam we are using for water, and it is producing two compounds A and B. So in the equation A and B are so if you tell what are the products that are being formed, the zinc is reacting with steam water. Okay, will it form zinc and hydrogen, or will it form zinc hydride and oxygen? Will it form zinc oxide and oxygen, or will it form zinc oxide and hydrogen? What will be formed? Okay. Okay, so Ayush is going for D. All are going for D. Yes, very good. So option D is the correct answer. Now always remember zinc always reacts with steam, okay, not with cold water. So whenever zinc is going for reacting with steam, it will always form zinc oxide and hydrogen. Zinc hydroxide will not be formed. Zinc oxide and hydrogen will be formed. Okay, so that's the reaction. So zinc oxide and hydrogen. These are some of the extra reactions you should know. Okay, you can take a screenshot if you want. So sodium reacts with cold water, so forming sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. Then iron also reacts with steam to form Fe3O4. Okay, so remember the product. This also comes for you as a question. It's an important question. Okay, iron will reacting with hot steam water, so it will form Fe3O4 and hydrogen gas. Carbon dioxide plus water will form carbonic acid. Okay, that's present in the your soda bottle. Sodium oxide and water will form sodium hydroxide. Okay, which is an alkali. Okay, take this one screenshot. Okay, let's do the next one. Now this is regarding extractions. Okay, process of extraction of metal from ores its ores is known as, whether it is A concentration, B calcination, C purification, option D metallurgy. Extraction of metal from its ore उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Which one will be the option? Okay, D, B. Okay, let's do the answer. So it is option D. Okay, so option D is the correct answer. Metallurgy. So metallurgy is extraction of metal from ore से अगर extract करना है metal, then we'll go. That process is called as metallurgy. Okay. Next one. Removal of impurities from ore is known as, option A crushing and grinding, option B concentration of ore, option C calcination, option D roasting. Okay, Sujan has gone for option B. Okay, impurities from ore. So the process of removing impurities from ore is known as, कौन सा वाला होगा? Others, give your answer. C calcination. Okay, okay. Let's see the answer. Okay. So it is option B. So Sujan, you are correct. Very good. Concentration of ore. Okay, not roasting or calcination. वो अलग होता है. Okay. So yes, concentration of ore is removal of impurities. ठीक है. Study of extraction of metal from its ores is called as, क्या था? Metallurgy. ये वाला में है ना? And this is removal of impurities. ore से impurity अगर remove करके purify करना है, then it is called as concentration. Okay. So don't get confused. Yes. So option B is the correct one. Okay. See here. Everyone see this chart. So always remember, first step is extraction, then purification. So concentration of ore होगा जहाँ पे the purification of ores will take place. All the impurities will get removed. Then जो high reactive metals होगा, they will go for electrolysis. Okay. So and again the ones having high reactivity, either if it is a carbonate ore, it will go for calcination. अगर sulfide ore है, then it will be roasting. Okay, then and if it is low reactive metals, that is sulfidose, they'll go for roasting. Okay, so that sulfidose will be roasting. अगर sulfidose दिया हुआ है, then we'll go for, you can mention roasting. कार्बोनेट और दिया हुआ है तो कैल्सिनेशन प्रोसेस. ठीक है, ये सब कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ऑफ ओर के बाद होता है. And for this one, electrolysis of water, you can also go for very high reactive metals. You can go for electrolysis. Okay. I'm so sorry about the voice problem. Others are also having the same issue. My voice is cracking or something. Okay, next one. Froth flotation method is used for the concentration of. Okay, is it oxide ore? Is it sulfide ores? If it is sulfate ores or is it halide ores? Okay, so here you have to say froth flotation method कहाँ पे use होता है? Whether it is concentration of oxide ore, sulfide ore, sulfate ore, or halide ore. Halide means halogens, okay? Chlorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. These are called halogens. So these are halide ores. Ores having halogens in them, okay? So you have to tell me where do we use the flotation method. Can you answer? No. Okay, so let's do, okay. Okay, you want me to repeat? Okay. So you have to say froth flotation method. Where do we use froth flotation method out of these four process? Oxide ore, sulfide ore, sulfate ore या halide ore का concentration. So from this where out of these four कहाँ पे froth flotation method use होता है for concentration. Okay, your Surya is going for C. And halide means halogens. Okay, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So they are called as halogens. So if halogens are present, they are known as halide ores. Okay. Okay, let's see. So here we have option B. Okay, so sulfide ores we will go for froth flotation process. This is the froth flotation process for concentration of sulfide. This is also another important topic that you need to study. Okay, so इसमें क्या होता है? We will use pine oil. Okay, remember the things that we require. Pine oil in the water. Okay, that so what will happen when the air is passed through it? Then froth will start appearing. Okay, so the impurities are called as gangue. Okay, so it will settle down at the bottom. Froth will be produced here where the like bubble like things are produced where it will carry the sulfide ores. Okay, so this froth is collected separately, skimmed out and वहां से तुम्हारा sulfide ores extract होगा. Okay, so through froth मतलब जो जैसे when you put detergents in water and you see those bubbles, that is the froth. Okay, so same thing they are used instead of detergent they are using pine oil. Okay, so pine oil if you mix there and if you start agitating, mix करके air डाल के when you move this blade, so what will happen? Froths will be formed. Okay, this froth will contain the sulfide also. So it will be separated and the impurities will settle at the below the tank. Okay, so here sulfide, not sulfate. Okay, it's okay. Sulfide and sulfate both are different. Okay, sulfate is SO4. Sulfide is only H. Sorry, S. Okay, suppose H2S, hydrogen sulfide gas. We say no, so S. Sulfate is SO4. Okay, well, let's move to the next one. What is anode mud? Option A, fan of anode. Option B, metal of anode. Option C, impurities collected at anode in electrolysis during purification of metals. Or option D, all of these. This is an easy one. Tell me what will be the answer. Tell me the answer. Anode mud. Okay. A, B, C, or D. Let's do the answer. So it will be option C. Okay. So anode mud is nothing but the impurities. Okay. That is settled at the bottom. That is called anode mud. Yes, anode mud. Okay. So नीचे में जो collect होगा the impurities that is collected at the bottom, That is called anode mark. Okay, so that is so here out of this option C is the correct one. Okay, next one again. The process of removing unwanted impurities from the ore is called same thing. Purification, calcination, basimerization, and concentration. Out of these four, which is the correct answer? So if you have to remove impurities from the ore, which process will it be? Okay, D, one is going for B. What about others? Let's do the answer. So it is D. Okay, so Shahi Gawad 4582. Okay, so good job. So option D is the correct answer. Concentration. Okay, so concentration is the answer. So the if you have to remove unwanted impurities from the ore, that process is called as concentration. The compound from next one. Okay, your name is Vinit. Okay, hi Vinit. The compound from which metal is extracted economically is. Okay, so you have to say the process. Okay, so which compound is extracted from the metal economically? Okay, you have to think economically. Means come say come with low cost or minimum cost economically. How will you extract the metal of the compound from which metal is extracted? Will it be slag, gangue, or mineral? Okay, so okay, C option C. You are going for C. Next rank one. Okay, you are going for C. What about others? C. Vinny is also going for C. Slag, gangue, ore, or mineral. Okay, let's see the answer. Option C. Okay, so option C is the correct answer. Ore. Okay, so ore is the one from which metal is extracted economically. Okay, rest all I know. I'm so sorry, my voice is cracking. Maybe there is an issue, network issue. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, now what is slag? You should know the terms. Okay, when you're using in metallurgy, you should know the terms. So so slag. What is slag? Slag is a stony waste matter that is separated from metals during the smelting or refining of ore. When you are doing refining of ore, okay, or when you are doing smelting process, the the stones that is already present in the ore, okay, metal ore. So that one first the stone like pebble like things are small pebbles are obtained. Okay, that is being separated. So that is nothing but slag. Okay. So rest all you know what is gang, what is ore, what is in a gang is the ones that is present, the impurities that is settled below that is gang, right? So slag is the term that you have not seen. So it's a stony based metal separated from metal. So all the metal ores they contain stones present there because it is present in the earth's crust. So from there, so we have to separate the stones. So that process is called as so that term is called as slag. Okay. As the next one, heating of concentrated ore in absence of air for conversion into oxide ore is known as. Okay. So roasting, calcination, reduction, none of these. So what will be the answer? When you heat concentrated ore in absence of air for converting into oxide ore, oxide ore में convert करना है in absence of air, so that process is called as what? Roasting, calcination, reduction, or none of these. Hello, Naveen. Yes. Okay. All A, option A. A, all are going for A. Okay, let's see the answer. That is option B, not A, not roasting. It is calcination. Okay, calcination. Remember, it is occurs in absence of air. Okay, so that's why it is calcination, not roasting. Next one. The process to heat the ore in presence of excess supply of air below its melting point is called roasting, calcination, smelting, or liquefaction. Okay, so here you see, ये वाला अलग है. This is in presence of excess of air. Okay, the earlier question was absence of air. ये है excess of air. Okay, and below its melting point. तो इसमें कौन सा होगा? Roasting होगा, calcination होगा, smelting होगा, liquefaction होगा. Yes, there, it is bit confusing. देखो, डोंट वरी. अगर एब्सेंस ऑफ एयर लिखा हुआ है और तुम हीट कर रहे हो, देन इट इज योर कैल्सिनेशन. ठीक है, कैल्सिनेशन में एयर का सप्लाई नहीं चाहिए. यू डू नॉट रिक्वायर एनी ऑक्सीजन और एनी एयर सप्लाई. ठीक है, तो उसमें कैल्सिनेशन में वही होता है. इसमें क्या होता है, इसमें विच प्रोसेस कैल्सिनेशन तो होगा नहीं क्योंकि इसमें एक्सेस एयर चाहिए होगा. एंड दैट टू बिलो इट्स मेल्टिंग पॉइंट. जो मेटल ओर होगा उसका मेल्टिंग पॉइंट से बिलो, लेस देन द इट्स मेल्टिंग पॉइंट. तो उसको कौन सा होगा? ओके, यस, रोस्टिंग. वेरी गुड. तो अगर कैल्सिनेशन नहीं होगा तो रोस्टिंग होने का चांस ज्यादा है. राइट? वाई? बिकॉज रोस्टिंग में रिमेम्बर करना, एक्सेस ऑफ एयर चाहिए एंड दैट टू बिलो इट्स मेल्टिंग पॉइंट. जो मेटल होगा उसका मेल्टिंग पॉइंट से बिलो होना चाहिए. 2 पॉइंट्स यू नीड टू रिमेम्बर फॉर रोस्टिंग. कैल्सिनेशन में एयर नहीं होगा, रोस्टिंग में एयर चाहिए, एक्सेस एयर चाहिए. ठीक है, सी आई एम गिविंग यू द नोट्स, सो डोंट वरी. ठीक है. अब स्मेल्टिंग क्या होता है? रोस्टिंग कैल्सिनेशन तो पता है हो गया. नाउ व्हाट इज स्मेल्टिंग? स्मेल्टिंग में भी वही, इट्स आल्सो मेटलर्जिकल प्रोसेस. में क्या होता है, हाई हीट होगा एंड रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट. अगर रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट यूज कर रहे हैं, वहां पे बोला, अगर क्वेश्चन में पूछा गया है कि इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ अ रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट, जैसे कोक और कार्बन यूज हो रहा है. ओके, yes, so that's why so what will happen, so ये अगर reducing agent दिखाई दे रहा है and high heat अगर बोल रहा है, then you go for smelting. So small keywords you remember. Okay, और एक बच गया क्या? Liquefaction. So liquefaction क्या है? So same is a metallurgical method for purifying metals. इससे क्या होगा, दोनों मेटल्स का अगर मेल्टिंग पॉइंट का डिफरेंस हो रहा है, एक है लो मेल्टिंग. ओके, जैसे 3 लीड बिस्मथ यूज हो रहा है, अगर वो वाला अगर एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है फ्रॉम अ हायर मेल्टिंग इम्प्योरिटीज, देन वी कॉल इट एज लिक्वेशन. लिक्वेशन में डिफरेंस इन मेल्टिंग पॉइंट्स का होगा. जो इम्प्योरिटी होगा उसका मेल्टिंग पॉइंट ज्यादा होगा, और जो मेटल तुमको कलेक्ट करना है दैट विल हैव अ लो मेल्टिंग पॉइंट, तब तुमको लिक्वेशन प्रोसेस में जाना है. ओके, सो यस, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग रोस्टिंग कैल्सिनेशन एक में होता है एब्सेंस ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, जो है कैल्सिनेशन में. रोस्टिंग में क्या होता है, ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई ज्यादा होगा along with मेल्टिंग पॉइंट लो होगा. स्मेल्टिंग में क्या होगा, हीट ज्यादा होगा एंड यू यूज अ रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट. ओनली इन स्मेल्टिंग यू यूज अ रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट. ओके, एंड लिक्वेशन में क्या है, अगर मेल्टिंग पॉइंट दोनों का डिफरेंस होगा, impurities and metal का, if there is a difference in melting points, एक high होगा एक low होगा, then you go for liquefaction. Okay, I hope I am clear now. So you can take a screenshot of the note that I am giving you. So you should know the, apart from roasting and calcination, बाकी दोनों को you also you have to remember. Okay, smelting and liquefaction. Cal, uh, calcination and roasting, that also I have already said. Roasting तो roasting में क्या होगा, excess oxygen supply होगा. Okay, then we'll, that is means we are talking about roasting. Calcination में क्या है, absence of oxygen. Okay, if it is absence of oxygen, then it is called as calcination. Those keywords only you need to remember. ठीक है, हीटिंग सब में होगा, बस वही है कि स्मेल्टिंग में हीट ज्यादा होगा एंड रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट यूज होगा, एंड फॉर लिक्वेशन यू हैव मेल्टिंग पॉइंट डिफरेंस. नाउ आई होप इट इज क्लियर नाउ. Okay, give a heart if you are clear. ओके, सो सिर्फ रोस्टिंग एंड कैल्सिनेशन नहीं पढ़ना है, बाकी स्मेल्टिंग एंड लिक्वेशन भी पढ़ना है. ओके, दैट्स द नेक्स्ट वन. द करेक्ट ऑर्डर ऑफ इंक्रीजिंग केमिकल रिएक्टिविटी इज. ओके, यू हैव टू से इन इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर. ठीक है, इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर में करना है. सो हियर, So what you have to do? So you have to know the reactivity series. Okay. So reactivity series में तुमको least reactive से high reactive we have to say. So which one is out of these four options is the correct answer? Okay. So tell me. Thank you. Hi, Aryan. Okay. Option B, iron, magnesium, zinc, potassium. What about others? Okay. Ayush, you're going for option D, iron, zinc, magnesium, potassium. Okay. Let's see the answer. So it is not B, it is D. Okay. So option D. So if you see iron सबसे कम है, पोटेशियम सबसे ज्यादा है. पोटेशियम एकदम टॉप में रहता है ना? So see here, पोटेशियम सबसे ज्यादा है. So potassium will be at the end, right? आयरन देखो, आयरन नीचे है. Here, okay, it is below. Then zinc ऊपर है, magnesium ऊपर है. Okay, so you all, I hope you all know how to remember it. एक one is the सिंपल ने कार मांगी, वो वाला तुमको, one is that way of remembering, another is this way. Okay, please stop calling me a careless zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. Okay, so this is another way of remembering the reactivity series. या फिर तुम लोग को अगर वो easy लगता है, कटरीना ने कार मांगी, Alto and Ferrari, that also you can do. Okay, okay, let's do the next one. An element reacts with oxygen to give a compound with a high melting point. This compound is also soluble in water. The element is likely to be, okay. Option A calcium, option B carbon, option C silicon, option D iron. Now it's going to be a little bit tougher and tougher. Okay, so listen very carefully, read very carefully. Okay, because I am not giving the easy ones. Easy ones you can already, you have it is very easy for you. I'm giving something unique, something a little bit tougher, so that you can have an idea. Okay, so let's. So can you tell me the answer of this? तो इसमें बोला है एक एलिमेंट है जो ऑक्सीजन के साथ रिएक्ट करेगा, एंड जो कंपाउंड फॉर्म होगा वो इट विल हैव अ हाई मेल्टिंग पॉइंट, उसका ज्यादा होगा, ठीक है. एंड जो कंपाउंड फॉर्म होगा दैट इज आल्सो सॉल्युबल इन वाटर. सो आउट ऑफ दिस व्हिच वन विल बी द एलिमेंट? कैल्शियम होगा, कार्बन होगा, सिलिकॉन होगा, आयरन होगा. थैंक यू. Okay, so let's give me the answer now. Calcium, carbon, silicon, iron. Which one will react with oxygen? That will give a compound of high melting point and also it will be soluble in water. At least guess कर दो if you don't know the answer. कुछ भी क्वेश्चन छोड़ के नहीं आना है. There is no negative marking. Negative marking नहीं है. So you should give the answer. Okay, MCQ हो कुछ भी क्वेश्चन, don't leave any question. At least try करो. क्या पता right हो जाए. Your hunch may be correct, right? Okay, Vitesh is going for D. Let's see. No, this is option A. Okay, calcium. So the calcium reacts with oxygen to form calcium oxide, right? Water method, it is so the calcium. This compound is also soluble in water. Okay, so उसके साथ water में सब mix हो जाएगा. So out of this, carbon cannot be, silicon नहीं होगा, iron cannot be. Okay, so it is only calcium. Okay, so see here, calcium will form calcium oxide. कार्बन होगा तो ऑक्सीजन के साथ क्या फॉर्म होगा? कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस फॉर्म होता है. सिलिकॉन होगा तो सिलिकॉन डाइऑक्साइड होता है. एंड आयरन होगा तो आयरन ऑक्साइड. ओके, सो हियर, so both silicon dioxide and iron oxide are water insoluble. They are not soluble in water. So this is the key thing that you need to remember. कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड एक ही है जो soluble in water होता है. कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस है, so it cannot, so this cannot be. Okay, high melting point बोला है, ठीक है. So silicon dioxide, iron oxide भी फॉर्म होता है, बट दोनों it is not soluble in water. Okay, so यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन में दिया हुआ है, the it has to be soluble in water. अगर soluble in water है तो it will be calcium oxide. Okay, so option A is the correct one. Okay, let's do the next one. Aluminium does not oxidize readily in air because. Why? Same thing, one question we have already got. So, aluminium does not oxidize readily in air. क्यों नहीं होता है? Option A, it is high in electrochemical series. Option B, it is low in electrochemical series. Option C, the metal does not combine with oxygen. Option D, the metal is covered with a layer of oxide which does not rub off. So what will be the option here? क्यों oxidize नहीं होता है? We have already given this answer. I have given you the hint. Now tell me the answer. Fast, fast. A, B, C or D? No one wants to try? Okay, let's see the answer. It is option D. Okay, because it is formed, oxide layer is formed aluminium, so that's why it prevents from corrosion also, right? So that's the answer. Same answer. Okay, now this one. Now coming to the alloy part. One of the constituents of amalgam is option A aluminium, option B copper, option C iron, option D mercury. So amalgam is an alloy. You know what is alloy, right? It's a mixture of metals. Mostly it's a mixture of metals. Different metals are combined together. Okay. So amalgam is also alloy. So you have to tell me which is one of the consider which metal out of these four which is present in amalgam. Aluminium, copper, iron या mercury. Try, try. सब लोग सो गए क्या? Why no one is answering? Try it out. You're giving hard. I want the answer. A, B, C, D. At least वही लिख दो. A या B या C या D. Okay. Option A. Most of you are going for option A and D. So option D is the correct answer. Okay. Copper. Sorry. Option D means mercury. Amalgam में mercury होता है. Main constituent is mercury. ठीक है. Remember this. So amalgam. So amalgam is an alloy of mercury with other metals. Okay. So it can be silver भी हो सकता है, gold amalgam भी हो सकता है, zinc amalgam. Amalgam मतलब mercury is okay. Along with that, you have silver, gold, zinc, aluminium, tin, sodium, potassium. But the main constituent is mercury. Okay. And remember, mercury does not form an amalgam with iron, platinum, tungsten or tantalum. इन चारों के साथ mercury combine नहीं होगा. Okay, rest all can be, these all are the amalgams of these all elements can combine with mercury. ठीक है. Now dental amalgam क्या होता है? That when you go to a dentist, no, when you're going for a filling and or if your teeth is broken or if you're going for, so you put a metal they put a metal strip right there in between the teeth, so that is nothing but dental amalgam. ठीक है. So it's a metal, so restorative metal composed of a mixture of silver, tin, copper alloy and mercury. ठीक है. सिल्वर रहता है, टीन रहता है, कॉपर रहता है, along with mercury in case of dental amalgam. Okay, so that's for your information. Okay, so next one. So if you want, you can take a screenshot. What is amalgam? So amalgam is also important alloy. So it's mercury is the main constituent. Okay. Okay, let's do the next one. Which of the following is incorrect? Okay, concern. Now, this is all about ores and alloys. Okay, chalcolite में copper, magnetite में iron, calamine में aluminium, galena में lead. I hope you know the constituents of each of these ores. These are the ores. Okay, chalcolite, magnetite, calamine, galena. These are the ores. Okay, so you have to tell whether the which metal is present there. So if it is correct, then so you have to say which is incorrect. इनमें से कोई एक ऑप्शन में इनकरेक्ट है. ओके, सो टेल मी विच वन इज इट. कौन सा और गलत है, मेटल गलत है उसके साथ. चलो. ओके. ऑप्शन सी कैलमन एल्यूमिनियम. अदर्स फास्ट. 10 more seconds. Okay, time is up. So yes, option C is correct. Very good. So yes, aluminium is wrong. Okay, so calamine does not contain aluminium. So aluminium is present in bauxite ore. Calamine contains zinc. Okay, so you remember these four ores. Chalcolite ore में कॉपर होगा, मैग्नेटाइट में आयरन होता है, कैलेमाइन में जिंक होता है, गैलिना में लीड होता है एंड बॉक्साइट में एल्यूमिनियम होता है. ओके, so these are the five important ores that you need to remember. Okay, so five I've already given, so एक साथ मैंने सब कवर कर दिया. ठीक है, ये सारा याद रखना. You can take a screenshot. I it's I will take some more time. Okay, because I'm going for one shot video, so I'm not going. So chemistry, I'm going to finish it today itself. Okay. Yes, you are the first one to answer. Very good. Okay, next one. Chalo. Among magnesium, copper, iron, zinc, the metal that does not produce hydrogen gas in reaction with hydrochloric acid is. So which one will be the option? Copper, zinc, magnesium, or iron? Okay, let's see who will answer this first. Which out of these four metals, which one will not produce hydrogen gas when it reacts with hydrochloric acid? This one answer fast. Option A copper, B zinc, C magnesium, D iron. Okay, Ayush is going for copper. Okay, let's see the answer. So if you see the ones which are higher reactivity series, they are always the stronger reducing agents, right? And they can displace hydrogen. So above hydrogen, whatever metals is there, that is magnesium, zinc, and iron. They are above hydrogen, so that can displace hydrogen. Okay, and less reactive metals, copper is less reactive than hydrogen, so it cannot. So option will be A. Okay, so copper. So copper cannot. So here copper will not produce hydrogen gas because copper cannot displace it. That's why, because it is lower in reactivity series below hydrogen. Okay, rest three are on the top of hydrogen, so that can be displaced. Okay, let's do the next one. The metal that reacts with cold water is. This is easy one. Do it. Mercury. Option B sodium. Option C zinc. Option D tungsten. कौन सा होगा? The metal that will react with cold water. 5 seconds more. Okay. B. Ayush is going for B. Whatever others. Okay, let's see the answer. Yes, B is the correct answer. Very good. Because mercury, your sodium is highly reactive with water, right? So alkali metals, particularly sodium and potassium. Okay, so cold water में react करेगा, it reacts silently. Okay, and what will happen? It will form respective hydroxide. Okay, so sodium अगर पानी में है तो sodium hydroxide form होगा, potassium अगर है तो potassium hydroxide will be formed, and hydrogen gas will be produced. Okay, and it's an exothermic reaction. हमेशा याद रखना, heat is produced. So that's why explosion might also occur. So that's why it's an because it's an exothermic reaction. Calcium calcium can also react with cold water, but it is less vigorous than sodium or potassium. Okay, so calcium is not given, so that's why it's not an issue. Magnesium reacts only with hot water. Remember this, okay? Magnesium reacts only with hot water. Aluminium, iron, and zinc react with steam and not cold water. So these things you should not remember. Okay. सोडियम पोटेशियम कोल्ड वाटर में होगा, कैल्शियम भी होगा लेकिन लेस vigorous होगा. मैग्नीशियम सिर्फ हॉट वाटर के साथ होगा, दैट इज स्टीम. एल्यूमिनियम आयरन एंड जिंक, सॉरी, हॉट वाटर के साथ होगा ओनली मैग्नीशियम. एल्यूमिनियम iron and zinc will react only with steam and not with cold water. Okay, remember these keywords. We can take a screenshot. Yes, Sujan, I won't forget you. Why will I forget? Okay, let's do the next one. Which of the following metal reacts with water or steam to produce oxide instead of hydroxide? Now see here. कौन सा मेटल वाटर और स्टीम के साथ रिएक्ट करेगा टू फॉर्म ऑक्साइड? ओके, नॉट हाइड्रोक्साइड बट ऑक्साइड. विल इट बी सोडियम, विल इट बी पोटेशियम, विल इट बी कैल्शियम और मैग्नीशियम? इसने बोला वाटर और स्टीम. ओके, तो अभी पढ़ा था थोड़ा देर पहले. सो टेल मी द आंसर नाउ. एंड इट विल फॉर्म ऑक्साइड. ओके, सो हाइड्रोक्साइड नहीं होगा. व्हाट विल बी द आंसर? 5 more seconds. कौन सा मेटल आउट ऑफ दिस फोर रिएक्ट करेगा स्टीम के साथ, पानी और स्टीम के साथ टू प्रोड्यूस ऑक्साइड? ओके, एंड नॉट हाइड्रोक्साइड. वाटर के साथ कंबाइन करके वाटर विल फॉर्म ऑक्साइड बट नॉट हाइड्रोक्साइड. ओके, नो वन इज आंसरिंग. बोलो. Okay, let's do the answer. It is magnesium. Okay, so magnesium, aluminium, iron, and zinc. Okay, they will show the same thing. So answer can be any of these four. Okay, magnesium, aluminium, iron, and zinc. इसमें से कोई भी एक option अगर है, that means that will be the answer for this type of question. Okay, so they will react with steam and they will form oxide. They will not form hydroxide, and hydrogen gas will also be produced along with oxide. ठीक है. वाई इट विल नॉट फॉर्म हाइड्रोक्साइड? क्योंकि हाई टेम्परेचर, स्टीम का जो हाई टेम्परेचर होगा एंड वट एवर हाइड्रोक्साइड इंटरमीडिएट प्रोडक्ट जो फॉर्म होगा पहले, so that if the hydroxide is also being formed, that also will break or decompose into stable oxide. So oxide is more stable for these four elements, that is magnesium, aluminium, iron and zinc. Okay, so steam के साथ अगर hydroxide भी होगा फिर से वो break down होके it will form it will form oxide and not hydroxide. ठीक है. Why the percentage is coming down? ज्यादा, मैंने तो 100% एक्सपेक्ट किया था. नो, इट्स नॉट कमिंग. व्हाई? ओके, लेट्स डू द नेक्स्ट वन. ओके, लेट्स डू द नेक्स्ट वन. White phosphorus is stored in option A in air, option B under water, option C under kerosene, under CS2 carbon disulfide. ओके, so कौन सा वाला आंसर होगा? Where do we store white phosphorus? Is it A, B, C or D? Okay, okay, time is up. Let's see. Okay, B, D. Okay, let's see the answer. The answer is B. Okay, so very good. Uh, Underwater. Okay, white phosphorus is stored underwater, not in air, not under kerosene, not under carbon dioxide. See the reason why. So phosphorus is highly reactive, right? Like sodium and potassium that reacts violently with water. So phosphorus is also highly reactive. So what will happen if it is exposed to air? Okay, so that it will immediately react with air. Okay, so because it has a low ignition temperature, जल्दी आग लग जाएगा because it has low ignition temperature. Okay, so that's why in order to avoid that reaction, it is stored under water, so it will not catch fire when kept at room temperature. Okay, so that's the answer why white phosphorus is stored in underwater and not in air. Okay, so you can take a screenshot. Okay, let's do the next one. So and why it is not stored in kerosene? Because it is soluble in kerosene. Okay, organic liquid just kerosene, it's an organic liquid. Okay, so here you'll put if you put the white phosphorus in the kerosene, so what will happen? It will get dissolved in the kerosene. So that's why no reaction will occur, and that's but white phosphorus अगर तो पानी में डालेंगे, so it is not soluble in water. So ये insoluble होकर रहेगा, it will not react with water. But kerosene में वो soluble हो जाएगा because it's an organic solvent. ठीक है? Okay, let's do the next one. Silicon is used in option A solar energy device, option B semiconductors, option C transistors, option D all of these. So where do we use silicon out of these four options? This is an easy one. Can you tell me the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. So option D. Okay, so it's used in all the three options. That is solar energy device में भी use होता है, semiconductors also, and transistors also. Okay, so it's not only for semiconductors but also in the other two also. So silicon is used in all the three. Okay, next one. The least malleable is out of these four options, which is the least malleable. You know the property of malleability, right? In metals we have seen. So the least malleable. So what is the answer? Aluminium, silver, gold or carbon? कौन सा होगा? Will you even do question and answers? If you want, I can do question. Yes, I'm going to do some of the questions and answers also. Okay, so some I have already included here. Not only MCQ, some of the questions is also included in this series. Okay. Okay, so tell me the answer. Least malleable. So option is D. That is carbon. Okay, this all are metals, aluminium, silver, gold. So they are malleable. Carbon is the one which is least malleable out of these four. Yes, very good. Option D. Okay, so carbon is considered among the least malleable. Why? Now, why? Because it is a non-metal which lacks the metallic bond. Because there is absence of metallic bonds, so there's so that's why it's and also it's a non-metal, so that's why it is least malleable. Okay, not gold. Gold is the most malleable one. Gold, silver, they are malleable. Okay, you can form into sheets, but carbon cannot be made into thin sheets. That is malleability. Okay, next one. Sodium is obtained by the electrolysis of option A, aqueous solution of sodium chloride. Option B, aqueous solution of sodium hydroxide. Option C, fused sodium chloride. Option D, fused sodium sulfate. Okay, so this is electrolysis of sodium. Okay, going for D. Whatever others, Sujan is going for D. Rest of you tell me the answer. Aqueous solution, fused. Okay, let's see the answer. It is C. Okay, not D. Fused one is correct. Okay, it cannot be aqueous solution. It is fused sodium chloride, not sodium sulfate. Because we are using sodium, right? So we are doing electrolysis of sodium. So we will use sodium chloride, fused sodium chloride. Okay, so this is the one. So it is obtained commercially by electrolysis of fused molten sodium chloride, and this process is electrolysis of sodium is known as Downs process. Okay, so remember this, the process of extraction of sodium, that is called as Downs process. Okay, here metallic sodium is produced at cathode and chlorine gas is produced at anode. Remember this, Downs process is also important. मेटलिक सोडियम कहाँ पे होगा, जो कैथोड में होगा, प्रोड्यूस होगा, एंड क्लोरीन गैस एनोड में होता है। ओके, एंड जो सोल्यूशन इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सोल्यूशन होगा, दैट इज सोल्यूशन इज सोडियम क्लोराइड। ओके, aqueous sodium chloride. So that's why it cannot be aqueous solution of sodium chloride. It is used as an electrolytic solution, which is called as, which is known, which that is nothing but brine solution. Okay? So this does not produce sodium metal. Instead, it yields hydrogen gas and sodium hydroxide. अगर हम लोग aqueous sodium chloride लेंगे instead of fused sodium chloride, then it will produce hydrogen gas, not chlorine gas. Okay, and sodium hydroxide form होगा. Okay, not sodium chloride, but sodium hydroxide. So that's why we cannot take option A. We have to go for option C. Okay. So this is the electrolysis. This is the Dance process you see here. So anode में chlorine gas. Okay, sodium होगा cathode में, and electrolytic solution is sodium chloride. Okay, so this is your called as Dance process. Let's move to the next one. Okay, in the combined state, zinc is mainly found as. Okay, combined state में zinc cannot exist as single because it's a reactive metal. So in combined state, it will react with what? Will it be chloride, bromide, oxide, or sulfide? Tell me the option. 5 seconds. Okay, so the answer is option D, sulfide. Okay, so zinc sulfide is formed. Yes, very good. Zinc sulfide. Okay, next one. Now this is going to be the little bit trickier ones. Okay, a metal M of moderate reactivity. ठीक है, एक metal है जो moderate reactivity होता है. It is present as its sulfide X. Okay, so in sulfide form एक sulfide है X, उसके साथ react करता है. Okay, on heating in air, जब heat करोगे, then X converts into its oxide Y, and a gas evolves. On heating Y and X together, the metal M is produced. X and Y respectively are. Okay, so you have to say the answer. Whether X is cuprous sulfide, cupric sulfide, sodium sulfide, or calcium sulfide, and Y, well, whether it will be cupric, sodium, or calcium oxide. So what is X and Y? यहाँ पे देखो X and Y जब हीट करेंगे then X कन्वर्ट होता है ऑक्साइड में and Y होता है गैस. ओके, एंड जब दोनों एक साथ करेंगे Y and X एक साथ अगर हीट करेंगे then metal M is produced, which is of moderate reactivity and is present as its sulfide of X. Sulfide X. Okay, so we have to identify what is X and Y. Okay, let's see. So option A is the correct answer. Okay, so X will be cuprous sulfide, Y will be cuprous oxide. This is a little bit trickier and tougher, so you have to think properly. Okay, you should know the properties. What forms oxide, किसके साथ क्या मिक्स होने से कौन सा गैस इवॉल्व होता है, those reactions you need to remember. Okay, so cuprous sulfide, क्योंकि ये sulfide form होगा, they have already said something has to be sulfide, X has to be a sulfide, right? Because it is given as present as a sulfide X. So X sulfide X वाला जहाँ पे sulfide है, so सब में sulfide है, right? So cuprous sulfide, and Y will be cuprous oxide. So on heating Y and X, metal M is produced. X and Y are, so X होगा cuprous sulfide, Y होगा cuprous oxide. Okay. See here, this is the reaction. Copper sulfide जब oxygen in that is presence of air, that is nothing but roasting, है ना, copper oxide form होता है. Okay, that is plus and sulfur dioxide gas. And reduction में क्या होता है, copper oxide and copper sulfide जब होता है, then you get copper and sulfur dioxide. So here we are talking about roasting and reduction process. ठीक है, if you know these two reaction, then you would have answered this. Yes, you have to think a little. So you should know the reaction. हर एक reaction important है. Even if the roasting reaction भी होगा या reduction, all these reactions are very important. Okay, so these are little bit tricky ones. Okay, let's do the next one. Which of the following metal react with concentrated sulfuric acid but does not react with the solution of ferrous sulfate? ओके, कौन सा आफ्टर दिस कौन सा सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड के साथ रिएक्ट करेगा लेकिन फेरस सल्फेट के साथ रिएक्ट नहीं करेगा? सो ये ऑल्सो कम्स द रिएक्टिविटी सीरीज से भी मालूम पड़ जाएगा. सो इफ यू वांट टू ट्राई, ओके 5 सेकंड्स. तो यहाँ पे देखो किसके साथ सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड के साथ कौन कौन रिएक्ट कर सकता है. व्हिच वन विल नॉट रिएक्ट विद फेरस सल्फेट, मतलब आयरन को कौन डिस्प्लेस नहीं कर पाएगा. That only you have to see. That means the ones which is less in the below iron that cannot react. इसी से पता चलेगा. I given you a hint. Okay. Immortal Universe is going for magnesium. What about others? Okay. Sujan is going for zinc. Okay. Let's see. It's copper. Okay. देखो, copper is less reactive than iron. Okay. That's why it cannot displace iron from ferrous sulfate. ठीक है. But इधर इसके साथ reaction नहीं होगा. Sulfuric acid क्या होता है? It's a strong oxidizing agent. Okay. So copper that are below hydrogen in the reactivity series do not react with dilute sulfuric acid, but they do undergo a redox reaction with hot concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay. Generally क्या होता है? Dilute sulfuric acid के साथ react नहीं करेगा. But if you are going for a strong acid, concentrated form में अगर sulfuric acid ले रहे हो, then it will definitely react. That redox reaction होगा and it will form a metal sulfate, sulfur dioxide, and gas and water. Okay, so this is the reaction that will occur. So copper अगर sulfuric concentrated H2 sulfur के साथ heat करोगे, then you have copper sulfate, sulfur dioxide, and water. Okay, and if it is, and copper will not react with ferrous sulfate because it is less reactive than iron. Okay, so that's why no reaction will occur. Okay, you can take the screenshot of this answer if you want. Okay, next one. An element can react with oxygen to give a compound with high melting point. This compound is also water soluble. The element is likely to be option A calcium, option B carbon, option C silicon, option D iron. ओके. एन एलिमेंट एक एलिमेंट है जो ऑक्सीजन के साथ रिएक्ट करेगा टू फॉर्म अ कंपाउंड जिसका मेल्टिंग पॉइंट हाई है. ओके, एंड वो जो कंपाउंड है इट इज आल्सो वाटर सॉल्युबल. जो कंपाउंड फॉर्म होगा इट इज वाटर सॉल्युबल. सो कौन सा होगा? वी हैव ऑलरेडी डन दिस टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन. कैल्शियम, कार्बन, सिलिकॉन, आयरन. Okay, let's see. So option A, that is calcium. Okay, so calcium is the correct answer. So calcium will react with oxygen and it will form. So why it is why we are why it will form this one? This is the answer. An ionic compound generally has high melting point. जो compound form होगा यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है it has high melting point. तो वो किसका होगा? जब कोई ionic compound form होगा. ठीक है. अब कैल्शियम क्या होगा? कैल्शियम इज एन एल्कलाइन मेटल है. ओके, तो वो जब ऑक्सीजन के साथ रिएक्ट करेगा इट विल फॉर्म कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड जो एक आयनिक कंपाउंड. आई होप यू नो व्हाट इज आयनिक कंपाउंड. आयनिक कंपाउंड क्या होता है? व्हेन द कंपाउंड फॉर्म इज by compound is formed by the transfer of electrons. शेयरिंग ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स किसके साथ होता है? कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड में. तो इसमें से कार्बन होगा तो कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड होगा, है ना. तो ये हो ही नहीं सकता. सिर्फ आयनिक कंपाउंड का हाई मेल्टिंग पॉइंट होता है. सो यू शुड नो द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ आयनिक कंपाउंड्स एंड कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड्स. ठीक है, वो अलग पढ़ लेना. ओके, सेम इज सिलिकॉन इज अ मेटलॉइड. ठीक है, ये भी कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड फॉर्म करता है. इसका भी हाई मेल्टिंग पॉइंट है बट ये वाटर इंसॉल्युबल है. हमें क्या चाहिए? वाटर सॉल्युबल चाहिए. ठीक है. आयरन इज अ मेटल whose oxides are water insoluble. आयरन भी मेटल है पर इसका ऑक्साइड क्या है? इंसॉल्युबल. यहाँ पे चाहिए हम लोग को वाटर सॉल्युबल. सो वाटर सॉल्युबल में सिर्फ तुम्हारा हो गया कैल्शियम. ओके, कार्बन तो होगा ही नहीं. कार्बन कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड कंपाउंड फॉर्म होता है तो वो होगा ही नहीं. ठीक है. सिलिकॉन हो सकता था मेल्टिंग पॉइंट अगर सिर्फ देता तो, लेकिन इंसॉल्युबल वाटर इंसॉल्युबल है वो. दैट्स व्हाई कैनॉट बी द आंसर. ओके, सो दिस वन SiO2 means silicon dioxide. Okay, कैल्शियम फॉर्म करेंगे कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड, सिलिकॉन ऑक्सीजन के साथ फॉर्म करेंगे सिलिकॉन डाइऑक्साइड। डाई मीन्स टू, SiO2 है ना, so 2 means डाई, ओके, so डाइऑक्साइड, ओके। चलो नेक्स्ट वन, अभी कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड, which of the following is not a property of covalent compounds? Okay, option A low melting point, option B poor electrical conductivity, option C soluble in water, option D formed by sharing of electrons। अभी हम लोग कार्बन एंड इस कंपाउंड में आ गए हैं, ठीक है, द लास्ट चैप्टर। चलो थोड़ा बात और कुछ क्वेश्चंस कर लेते हैं, देन इट विल बी ओवर, ठीक है। Now you have to say which is not a property of covalent compounds। Out of these four कौन सा वाला covalent compound का property नहीं है? So you should, that's why I'm saying ionic compound and covalent compound का property definitely पढ़ लेना, वहां से क्वेश्चन आता है, ठीक है। So what will be the answer for this? Whether it will be A, B, C or D? कौन सा property नहीं है? Okay. So option C is correct. Very good, Sujan. So soluble in water, that is not a property of covalent compound। covalent compound का melting point low होता है, electrical conductivity conduct नहीं करता है, except for electrical conductivity। फिर covalent compound में क्या है, sharing of electrons, जो मैंने बोला, it is water, it is not soluble in water। Okay, so covalent compound is generally not soluble in water। Next one, which of the following compounds is covalent in nature? Carbon tetrachloride, ammonium chloride, lithium chloride, and calcium chloride। So you have to say which compound is covalent in nature। You see here where can we find covalent compound? वही वाला होगा, तो इसमें से कौन सा होगा? This is easy one। Okay, so let's see the answer. It is option A, carbon tetrachloride। Formula is CCl4। ओके, अब बाकी तीनों क्यों नहीं होगा? एमोनियम क्लोराइड, लिथियम क्लोराइड एंड कैल्शियम क्लोराइड, दे आर आयनिक कंपाउंड्स, ठीक है। सिर्फ CCl4 दैट इज कार्बन टेट्राक्लोराइड इज कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड। यस, नो, लिथियम क्लोराइड इज आयनिक कंपाउंड, ठीक है। इसमें सिर्फ कार्बन जहाँ पे वहीं पे देख लो, कार्बन ही कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड फॉर्म करते हैं ना, सो दैट्स व्हाई कार्बन टेट्राक्लोराइड विल बी द आंसर। सो व्हेनेवर यू सी कार्बन, आंख बंद करके कार्बन होगा, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट वन, carbon compounds are good conductors of electricity. Number two, are bad conductors of electricity. Number three, have strong forces of attraction between the molecules. Number four, have weak forces of attraction between their molecules. The correct statements are A, B, C or D। कौन सा वाला होगा? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 2 and 4 और 1 and 3। इसमें से कौन सा दो ऑप्शंस करेक्ट है? ओके, सो यू शुड नो द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड, जो मैंने बोला है, तो कोई ना कोई इस तरह से क्वेश्चन पूछ लेगा, ठीक है। सो कार्बन है मतलब कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड्स के बारे में ही बोल रहे हैं। सो व्हाट विल बी द ऑप्शंस दैट आर करेक्ट? द करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट्स, कौन कौन सा स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट है? व्हाट विल बी द आंसर? सो हियर द आंसर इज ऑप्शन सी। Okay, so option C, that is 2 and 4. They are bad conductors of electricity. They are not good conductors. Covalent compounds are never good conductors of electricity. And option 4 is correct. They have weak forces of attraction. Okay, they do not have strong force of attraction. They have weak because they are covalent compounds. I think one with strong force of attraction is there. Okay, so that's why option C is the correct answer. Next one. Structure of diamond is. This one should be easy one. Linear, tetrahedral, trigonal, hexagonal. What will be the answer? Diamond structure. Remember the structures of diamond and graphite. So based on that, you tell me whether it will be linear, tetrahedral, trigonal, or hexagonal. Hello, Pankaj, Bankai and G. Okay. Can you tell me this answer? What is the structure of diamond? Is it linear, tetrahedral, trigonal, or hexagonal? A, B, C, or D? कौन सा वाला होगा? Which one? Okay, Ayush is going for D. Okay, let's see the answer. It is B. Tetrahedral होता है ना ऐसा. See the structure. Graphite is hexagonal. Tetrahedral is diamond. Okay. Four carbon atoms रहता है ना. कैसा वाला होता है? Diamond. Okay. So that is tetrahedral, not hexagonal. Okay. Next one. Which one of the following hydrocarbons is different from the others? So tell me. So here you should know the formulas of alkene and alkyne. ठीक है. इसी से पता चल जाएगा because there is no other functional group present here. So इसी से पता चलेगा. So you should know. So कौन सा वाला different है from the others. So three are same, one is different. So tell me which one. So for alkene it is what? CnH twice n plus 2 and alkene is CnH twice n. Alkyne is CnH twice n minus 2. Okay, single bond means alkene, double bond means alkene, triple bond means alkyne. Okay, so are you sure going for option D? That is C2H6, right? Okay, option B. D or B? Okay, you're saying 2. Okay, you're going for now, you're going for B. Okay, hi Sarthak. Okay, what about others? Okay, let's do. So option B. Okay, so option B is the correct answer. So if you see here, this is what? This is alkene, right? This is alkene H twice n, right? Here it is again twice n plus 2. This is also alkene, and this one also. This is also alkene. So this one is the odd one now. That is here. This is an alkene, not alkene. There's three here alkenes. Okay. Next one. Identify the functional group present in the following compound. CH3, CO, CH3. What will be the which functional group is present here? See here, only O is there, right? So that means कौन सा वाला है? CO है. CH3 CO. So what will be the answer? Aldehyde, ketone, carboxylic acid, alcohol कौन सा वाला होगा? So here it will be ketone. Okay, so carbonyl group C double bond O, है ना? C double bond O. This is what ketone, and this is a carbonyl group. Okay, so ये वाला होगा तो ये वाला ketone है. ठीक है? Yes, ONE ketone. Okay, now write the condensed structural formula of ethanol, propanol, propanol, butane. तो इसमें तुमको you have to write the condensed structure. Okay, condensed structure means short वाला. जैसे CH3, CH2 वैसे वाला. ठीक है? This is a condensed structure. Okay, not the structural one. This is a condensed वाला. So formula of ethanol, propanol, propanol, butane. Okay. तो इसमें क्या what you have to do? So ethanol is what? CH3 CH2OH or okay, and propanol is a ketone, so CH3 CO CH3 होगा. Propanol is alcohol, so OH होगा, so CH3 CH2 CH2OH. Prop means 3 carbons. But means 4 carbon, so CH3 CH2 CH2 this is an alkene, right? Butane is an alkene. So these are the condensed structure. So condensed structure मतलब तुमको first formula लिखना है, ठीक है? Without showing the bonds. Okay, so इसमें सिर्फ तुमको ऐसे condensed form में लिखना है. So this is called condensed structural formula. ठीक है? हाँ. OL मतलब alcohol, ONE मतलब ketone, okay, and ANE मतलब alkene. It's an alkene. ठीक है? Next one. Write the name and structural formula of a ketone with molecular formula C4H8O and an aldehyde with molecular formula of C2H4O. So you have to write the name of the compound and also the structural formula. ठीक है? कीटोन इट्स एक हाइड्रोकार्बन है जो कीटोन है और जिसका फॉर्मूला है C4H8O. तो कौन सा वाला होगा? व्हाट विल बी द नेम ऑफ दिस कंपाउंड? 4 कार्बन है, दैट मींस ब्यूट कीटोन है, सो ONE होगा, है ना? सो आंसर विल बी ब्यूटानॉल. ओके, एंड सेकंड वाला एल्डिहाइड है और 2 कार्बन है, सो इथ एल्डिहाइड एंड्स विद Al, so ethanol. Okay, CH3 CHO, you have to write the structural formula also. So CH3 CHO will be the ethanol and CH3 CH2 CO CH3 will be butanol. Okay, so that's the structural formula along with the name you have to write. Butan, no, it's not butan, it's butanon. Okay, Pritesh, butane you write because it is single bond. So butane, PAN, you have to remove the E. Okay, and instead of that, you write the your functional group name, that is ONE. So butanon. If you are having doubts in this, you can go and check my videos for the condensation structure uh, formulas. Okay, that's the video you check along with the isomers also video I made. Those two you can check if you are having doubts there. I have included all this. Okay, next one. Select from the following a hydrocarbon having one carbon-carbon single bond and one carbon-carbon triple bond. तो एक ऐसा आउट ऑफ दिस फोर कौन सा हाइड्रोकार्बन में एक ही सिंगल बॉन्ड है कार्बन कार्बन का एंड एक ही कार्बन कार्बन ट्रिपल बॉन्ड. So what do you think is the answer? Is it benzene, cyclohexane, I've already given, butane or propane? Okay, so benzene has alternating carbon, single bond and double bond. So it cannot be one carbon, single carbon carbon single bond or one carbon carbon triple bond. Triple bond is not there in benzene. Benzene have double bonds, right? Cyclohexane. So cyclohexane are all are having single bonds since it's alkene. So it cannot be. Butane is triple bond, but but is four carbons, right? So it is prop but. So four carbons, so it cannot be only one single bond. Okay, so only one double triple bond is there, but rest carbons are having single bond. Propine will have the answer because propine is three carbon, एक में triple bond होगा और बाकी दो कार्बन के बीच में single bond. How do you write propine? Carbon, right? This is how you write. तीन कार्बन है, so एक के साथ double bond, triple bond होगा and एक के साथ single bond. So that's so propine will be the correct answer. Okay. Okay, let's do the next one. A hydrocarbon which does not belong to the same homologous series of the compound is. So you have to know what is homologous series, right? So it should be belong to the same family. So out of this, which one will is uh, not a member of the homologous series? Okay, so what will be the answer here? So you see where it is alkane, because no other functional group is there. So C4 H10, C6 H14, C7 H14, C10 H22. Okay, so your answer is option C, C7H1 because it is alkene. C and H twice in, right? These all are alkenes. Alkene family. This is not alkene. This is an alkene. So this does not belong to the homologous series of the alkene family. Okay. Next one. Consider the same question related to homologous series. Another one. Consider the following statements about homologous series. Option A. All succeeding members differ by CH2 unit. Melting and boiling points increase with molecular mass. Option B. Option C. Difference in molar mass of successive members is 16 U. Option D. C2H2 and C3H4 are not successive members of alkyne series. Which of the above statements are correct? ठीक है, so चार प्रॉपर्टीज दिया हुआ है. एक है होमोलॉगस सीरीज के साथ कौन सा मैच कर रहा है. ओके, सो सक्सेसिव मेंबर्स डिफरेंस बाय CH2 यूनिट. हर एक मेंबर का डिफरेंस होता है CH2 यूनिट. फिर ऑप्शन में मेल्टिंग एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट जितना मॉलिक्यूलर मास बढ़ता जाएगा, मतलब जितना नंबर ऑफ कार्बन एटम्स बढ़ता जाएगा, मेल्टिंग एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट भी बढ़ता जाएगा. ऑप्शन सी है मॉलिक्यूलर मास जो है, मोलर मास इज नथिंग बट मॉलिक्यूलर मास ऑफ हर एक मेंबर का डिफरेंस होता है 16 U. एंड ऑप्शन डी C2H2 and C3H4 are not successive members of alkyne series. तो कौन सा करेक्ट है? ओके, ऑप्शन सी. हाँ, A, B and C, A, B and C, right? So these are correct. So yeah, but you see here, option D. Also, this is also correct. Na? Here you see C2H2 and C3H4. These are not successive members. So this one is also correct. Na? So option A and B is yes or नहीं चाहिए. Okay, these are wrong. So option A and B are correct. So all will differ by CH2 unit. Melting and boiling point increase with molecular mass. Okay, a difference is not 16 U. तो काउंट करो कार्बन का कितना है 12 plus 2 how many 40. So it has to be a difference of 14 U, not 16 U. ठीक है, so that's why this is option C cannot be an answer. Okay, so option will be Correct answer is A and B. Okay, let's do the next one. A compound X is oxidized by an oxidizing agent such as alkaline KMNO4 or acidified potassium dichromate. Okay, K2Cr2O7 is potassium dichromate to form another compound Y having a pleasant smell when combined with ethanol. Okay, these are the questions you should know or you should maybe okay for board exams. So it is from now on, these questions are very common. Okay, so you listen very carefully. A compound है जो ऑक्सीडाइज हुआ है व्हाट इज द ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट दैट इज बीइंग यूज्ड वो है इधर KMnO4 या K2Cr2O7 यूज किया है एज एन ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट टू फॉर्म ए कंपाउंड Y जिसका स्मेल है इट्स हैविंग अ प्लेजेंट स्मेल जब इथेनॉल के साथ कंबाइन होता है तुमको आइडेंटिफाई करना है कौन सा X है व्हाट इज Y इक्वेशन भी लिखना है एंड व्हाट टाइप ऑफ रिएक्शन इज इट अगर तुमको रिएक्शन सब अगर पता है फॉर दिस चैप्टर कार्बन इन दिस कंपाउंड ऑल द रिएक्शंस then it is very easy. So pleasant smell. Okay. So what will be the answer? So X will be ethanol. Okay. And Y will be ethanoic acid. Remember the क्या form होता है? Ethanol and ethanoic acid. Okay. So one is alcohol, one is carboxylic acid. Remember? So that is so this is nothing but so since oxidizing agent is used. So that's why it will be your K2Cr2O7 came apart. So that means it's an oxidation reaction. Oxidizing agent hint is already given. Oxidizing agent is already given. Right. So that means it will be an oxidation reaction. So this is the reaction. Two means we are talking about the oxidation, oxidizing agent. You can write KMnO4 लिख सकते हो या K2Cr2O7 लिख सकते हो or in short form you can write like this. Okay. So that's the reaction for this. Okay. Hi Pallavi. Okay, let's do the next one. A hydrocarbon X adds hydrogen in presence of nickel catalyst to form compound Y. ठीक है एक हाइड्रोकार्बन है where we will add hydrogen in presence of nickel catalyst. So I hope you remember the reaction. जिसमें catalyst use हो रहा है and hydrogen you are adding it. So you have to identify the X and the compound that is formed after adding hydrogen in presence of the catalyst, nickel catalyst. So what is X, what is Y? Chemical equation बताओ, name of the reaction and what type of hydrocarbon X is. Okay. So you have to tell this answer. Okay. What is X? Remember, it has to be, I'll give you a hint. Unsaturated, saturated hydrocarbons. Okay, अगर unsaturated hydrocarbon को saturated बनाना है, then you go for this process. Okay, so your answer is, so X has to be unsaturated, that means alkene या alkyne होगा. Okay, mostly alkene, जैसे ethene if you take, so alkene अगर form करना है, alkene से alkane form करना है, then you go with addition of hydrogen and a catalyst use करो. Okay, so it will form a saturated hydrocarbon. And this is the reaction. So if you take this alkene plus hydrogen in presence of nickel catalyst, okay, यहाँ पे ऊपर में nickel लिख देना. You can use nickel, you can use platinum, okay. So it will form alkene that is ethane. Ethene से ethane अगर बनाना है, then you add hydrogen and nickel. Process hydrogen add हो रहा है, so we'll call it as hydrogenation reaction, okay. And what is the type of hydrocarbon X? So it is a unsaturated hydrocarbon. या तो alkene होगा या फिर alkyne होगा. Okay, so that is the answer for this question. So always remember hydrogenation कहाँ पे होता है? So formation में भी हम लोग use करते हैं. Okay, if you have to convert alkene or alkyne to an alkane, you will go for hydrogenation. Hydrogenation process में क्या होता है? Hydrogen add होता है in presence of जब भी hydrogen add करोगे, then you have to use a catalyst to speed up the reaction. That is the role of a catalyst. Okay, so here you can use nickel or platinum. चलो next one. Hydrocarbon reacts with chlorine in presence of sunlight to form Y and hydrogen chloride gas. Hydrogen chloride means HCl. Okay. So identify X and Y and name the type of reaction and write the chemical equation. X है जो chlorine के साथ react होगा in presence of sunlight. So I hope you remember that reaction जहाँ पे sunlight use हो रहा है and chlorine gas use हो रहा है. To form a compound Y and HCl gas is produced. So what is X and Y? So it is nothing but methane. Okay, and methane के साथ अगर तुम chlorine gas use करोगे in presence of sunlight, you will get your chloromethane. Okay, chloromethane or methyl chloride, you can say. Okay, and reaction is what? Substitution reaction. Okay, and that's CH4 plus Cl2 in presence of sunlight. So you can add here sunlight, you can add, write it here, and it will be CH3Cl will be formed and it's here. Okay, so this is why this is X. So methane plus chlorine. So this comes under substitution reaction. Okay, next one. A liquid compound X, when burnt in air, produce carbon dioxide, water, and heat. It also it is also used as a fuel in spirit lamps and vehicles. Okay, so hint is already given. It is used in vehicles as a fuel and also in spirit lamps. So identify X, write a chemical equation, mention one advantage of using X as a fuel. Okay, so what will be the answer? So this is a very common question. So it is ethanol. Ethanol we use it in vehicles, right, as a fuel. So this is the equation. So C2H5OH, you can also write CH3, CH2OH also in presence of oxygen. So it will form carbon. Sorry, here. So it will burn. So here what will happen? So here it burns. So the advantage is it burns cleanly and does not produce harmful chemicals. Okay. So always so you have to read the properties of ethanol. Okay, so don't forget. So properties of ethanol is very important. So you have to read it. Okay, so each and every question in carbon compound in every topic is important. Okay, so you get most of cases questions from here. Okay, so don't forget. And this so here, okay, this one will be water. CO2 is given, and here water will be formed. Okay, this one will be water, not CO2. It will be H2O. Carbon dioxide and water will be produced. So 3H2O it will be. Okay. So why we use ethanol? Because it burns cleanly, so it does not leave any residue. So that's why, so it will not produce any harmful pollutants. Next one, when a compound X reacts with sodium metal, a gas Y is evolved. Okay. So here a gas Y is evolved which burns with a popping sound. Now, which gas produces popping sound? I hope you already know. Okay, so identify X and Y, फिर balance equation लिखना है and name the gas evolved. Hello, hello, Arnav. Okay, so you have to tell me what is compound X and that will react with sodium metal and gas Y will be released, which is create a popping sound. So hydrogen gas ही होता है जो popping sound create करता है, right? So it will, Y will be by default it will be hydrogen, and this will be ethanol. Okay, so ethanol when reacts with sodium, it forms sodium ethanoate. Okay, and hydrogen gas. So this is sodium ethanoate. C2H5ONe is sodium ethanoate. Okay, and gas evolved is hydrogen gas. Okay, okay, so that's it. So we have covered all the chapters of chemistry. I hope your doubts have been cleared. I hope you are able to have get some confidence regarding the questions that we have done so far. So go back, revise all the topics that we have covered. Okay, the key points that I've said, those things you go back and read once again. Okay, so that you remember and keep on reading. Okay, so try different questions, and I'll be coming up in biology for the next series. So watch it. That will also be a one-shot video. I'll let you know on which day I'll be doing it. So I'll post it in my channel. So get ready for biology. Okay, so thank you for coming and thank you for watching. If you like it, like my videos, do share and subscribe. And and you can go back to my channel and check all the videos that I've already made for chemistry and biology. You can go back and see the competency-based questions and other videos are also there, so you can have a look there. Okay, so goodbye everyone, and have a good night.